Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you guys my Rokket Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for the end of June 2018 and post Battles of Legend Relentless Revenge. Wanted to bring you guys this deck profile as my first for all the different decks I'm going to do for Relentless Revenge. It's a really awesome deck profile. I'm so happy we got the Rokket support, including Beauregard and Gumblar Dragon for the Link monsters for the deck. It really does help with just the offensive and defensive capabilities that this deck can do, and I can't wait till Cybernetic Horizon when we get the rest of the Rokket support, including Boral's Sword. It's just gonna make the deck that much more fun and that much more playable, since we'll have more options to summon out the Rockets and just bigger monsters to go into, like Cyber's cards have really been getting with all the code talkers. But with enough talking, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the Rokket monsters, I run 3 Magna Rokket Dragon. For those of you that don't know what the Rokket monsters do, they all special summon off of each other when they've at the end of the turn when they have been destroyed either by battle or card effect, and then you just special summon a Rokket monster besides the one that was destroyed. So if Magna Rocket's destroyed, you can get Auto Rocket or Anis the Rocket, depending on whichever one you want for the next situation. If they're targeted by an effect, mostly because of the Boral effects, you can destroy them, and then they get other rocket effects. With Magna Rockets, when it's destroyed, you can send one monster on the field to the graveyard. It basically has to be an effect that targets this card, then you destroy it. So they're basically, that destructive capabilities are what really help with the deck. And 3 Magna Rocket just to help clear out monster effects. Monsters on the field definitely come in handy. And I also run 3 Auto Rocket Dragon. Auto Rocket Dragon basically has the same effects as Magna Rocket, except instead of sending a monster, it sends a spell or trap when it is targeted for that effect. So going off of that, you want to make sure you have, plenty of ways to clear out your board when you're going for some of your bigger plays, which one of the big plays with this deck, once we get the rest of the support, is helping you get an extra link so you can benefit off of Topologic Gumblar Dragon's extra link effect, which we'll get to in a little bit. So just those field clearing helps, because then you're free to go for your big plays that you'll make with this deck with all your link summons. And I also run 3 Metal Rocket Dragon. Auto Rocket, Magna Rocket, and Metal Rocket all have the best attack stats of all the Rocket Dragons in the deck at 16, 17, and 1800 attack points. With Metal Rocket, when a Link monster effect is activated that targets this card on the field, it's a quick effect. You can destroy this card, then destroy all of your opponent's cards in the column that this card was in. So you want to special this off of your other Rocket effects, and remember where your opponent has a lot of the cards, because end phase is going to be when they set up their board, basically. So then you'll know where to special summon this, and then when to make use of your Boral Dragon effects with this card also. Remember that. And then I also run 2 Shell Rockets. Shell Rocket has the effect of when a Link effect is activated that targets this face-up card on the field, you can destroy this card, then destroy one monster in the column this card was in, and if you do, destroy any monsters in the adjacent zones. Now, I only run 2 Shell Rockets because it's a little more situational than cards like Metal Rocket, Auto Rocket, and Magna Rocket, but you still can benefit by destroying multiple monsters with this guy's effects. So definitely does come in handy. And I also like him because him and Anis the Rocket also have the big defense to sit on as well. So if you special summon it in defense and you don't really have any plays to go for, you can just play basically, like I said, defensive until you get what you want for your plays. And Anis the Rocket is kind of like the effect veiler of the deck. It has the monster effect negation. You target one monster on the field and it's unable to attack, and also it has its effects negated. So remember that as well. But like I said, situational with this card as well, and it doesn't destroy, it just prevents your opponent's cards. So also remember that when you're special summoning them out, because then you're going to use them as the weaponry for your bigger Link monsters. And then to also help with the Link spam, I also run 3 Gateway Dragons. The more Link monsters we get, the more playable this card becomes, because it just means your opponent is more and more likely to rely on Link summoning for their plays. If your opponent controls a Link monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and you can only special summon Gateway once per turn this way. Once per turn, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Dark Dragon monster from your hand, which is all of the Rokket monsters. So you have those options to special summon them out, and it's just an easy Link summon from then on out. And it doesn't take up your normal summon either, since you get this off the special summon if your opponent has a link. You special summon the, Dark Dragon as well, and then your normal summon, like I said, is saved for whatever you want it to be. As for the new monsters we got, I run 2 Hibernation Dragon. I love this card so much with its add-back capabilities. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target one level 4 or lower dragon monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. While you control no link monsters except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one dark dragon link monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use each effect of Hibernation Dragon once per turn. So with the add-back of Gateway, means another special summon. So if you use this as your normal summon, the low stats really don't mean anything because you're obviously going to be using it for some of your special summon plays on the field. And the fact that you can get back link monsters from the graveyard as well with his banish effect means that you can also basically set up for your extra link by putting that link monster where you need it to be to connect the arrows as well. And since it also has a banish effect from the graveyard, it's an optional target for cards like Dragon Shrine or Foolish Burial, depending on if you want to go that route as well with this card. And I'm also trying out one Triggering Worm. Now, I loved Hibernation Dragon so much more than Triggering Worm, and that's why I'm only running one of this card. I like it for its link options. It doesn't really benefit too much to the special summon. It does special summon to a link, when you use it, but you really just need to use it for kind of like your Borolo Dragon monsters of own effects to target this card, but then you'll get, its own abilities. You can special summon this card from your graveyard attack position to a zone that a link monster points to that cannot be used as a link material, and if this card is destroyed or banished by an effect activated by a link monster, you draw one card. You can only use the effect once per turn. Like I said, it's draw power. It's more special summon power as well. It's also potential for Destrudo, which we'll get to in a bit, which I also run one of. But like I said, just the one of, because it doesn't really help as much with your Field Swarm. Unlike Destrudo, which is another Dragon Shrine target along with Foolish Burial, just for the easy special summon as well, and then special summon it to the field. You can either use it for a link, or you can special summon Black Rose Dragon with it. It can also be used with Triggering Worm because it cannot be used as a link material, but you can use it for other special summons, obviously. And I also run one background dragon, basically just this for the emergency situations when if you control no cards, special summon this card, and then one level 4 lower dragon monster from your hand. So another Dragon Shrine target for sure. Just remember, you have so many options with Graveyard with this deck, it's crazy. And then making use of the Graveyard, just 2 Wyvern Buster, banish a dark monster to special summon it, just a free monster on the field. Basically everything we've shown so far is dark, so you're guaranteed for easy specials off this guy. I don't run Collapse Serpent just because, this is literally the only light monster we run, light dragon we run in the deck, so it wouldn't be as consistent as Wyvern Buster is. But for the last monster, I also run one Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Easy special, all you have to do is banish a face-up dragon monster you control. So it can also be Triggering Worm if need be, since you kind of want to save your other ones for your plays. But, banishing the Triggering Worm, since it can't be used for Link Summon, definitely does help with the Red Eyes Darkness Metal. And then just another special summon off the Red Eyes Darkness Metal contributes as well. And then moving on to the spells, I run 3 Quick Launch. You special summon a rocket monster from your deck, but it cannot attack. Also destroy during the end phase. Use it for link material, or destroy it, and then you'll get your special summon off since it was destroyed. And then just remember to activate at the end phase, obviously. Also, 2 Squib Draw. You target a rocket monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, draw 2 cards. Only activate 1 Squib Draw per turn. But draw power, only 2 though, because we run a good amount of rocket monsters, but then we also run a good amount of them that are not. So if you open up the Squib Draw and you don't have any rockets, obviously, you won't get the draw as consistently, which is what differs it with Quick Launch, since Quick Launch just gives you a rocket monster aside from you having to have a rocket monster on the field. And I also run 3 Boot Sector Launch. This field spell just helps you special summon so much, whether it be with its hand effect or its grave effect. You're guaranteed, to fill up the field with rocket monsters, especially when you're at a disadvantage with your opponent. So remember that for sure with this card. And I also run just the one terraforming for extra search. Now, the numbers from the boot sector launch and the terraforming might change up. I've been debating what I want my numbers for Dragon Shrine and Foolish Burial to be, just to assist with the send effects, because we get more and more dragons, like Hibernation Dragon and Background Dragon, that just really go off in the graveyard. So I might even bump down, either taking out the terraforming or, even 2, and just throwing in more Dragon Shrine to help with the send to the graveyard effect. But I've been testing it out, and those numbers just go back and forth. If you want to try them out yourself, you might find you like some of those numbers more than the boot sector launch ratios I have. And then just to wrap up the spells, 3 Allure of Darkness, once again, plenty of dark monsters, draw power, along with the Squib Draw, except, obviously you don't have to use the rockets for the allures, so easy draw there. And I also run 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Soul Charge to finish off the main deck. Now, Soul Charge is crazy because I've been able to get a lot of easy extra links with this card, and then I don't attack, but that's what Gumblar's for, just make use of its effect. But we'll get to that now with the extra deck. For the extra, 1 Borreload Dragon. I've used it in all my Rokket deck profiles. Standard, what it does, it has the minus 500 effect, and then by targeting one of your rockets, you activate their own effects. Can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects. Can take your opponent's monsters when it attacks into it. Well, overall, a great link monster. For the new ones, I run 2 Beauregard. Now, can't wait till we get Sword as well. But Beauregard, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, and once per turn, you can send 1 card from your spell and trap card zone to the graveyard, special summon from your graveyard to your field 1 monster that was destroyed and sent there this turn, but negate its effects. And once per turn, quick effect, you can target 1 monster on the field, change it to defense. Your opponent cannot activate anything in response. So it's basically like Borreload with just different effects. It can't be destroyed by card effects, so great protection there. It's a 3,000 attack point monster. It needs 3 or more effect monsters, just like Borreload. Just another option with the deck for sure. And going off of all your other monsters you have, a great addition to the Rokket deck for sure. Along with Topologic Gumblar Dragon. If another monster is special summoned to a zone this link monster points to, while this card monsters on the field, discard 1 or 2 random cards, and then your opponent discards the same number during your main phase. If this card's in the extra link, your opponent has to at least 1 card in their hand. You can make your opponent discard 1 or 2 cards, whichever is higher. Then if they discard no cards, they take 3,000 points of damage. A great extra link monster effect. It puts on so much pressure to your opponent. Like I said, with the Soul Charge play, I was able to get this card, set up very, very easily. And then I couldn't attack, but I had that pressure alone against my opponent. It was quite insane. For the other Topologics, I also run 1 Bomber Dragon and 1 Trisbana. Just easy Rokket plays, obviously, with these as well. And I also run 1 Triple Burst Dragon, 1 Twin Triangle Dragon. Both help when I just need easy summons to the field. For use with my multiple links, I run 1 Ningirsu, World Chalice. Also 1 Decode Talker, 1 Underclock for the Nightmare Engine, 1 Unicorn, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, and 1 Phoenix. And then to work with the Destrudo, the 1 Black Rose Dragon. Definitely does come in handy when I need board wipes, answers, and just an easy synchro with it to go off on. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Definitely going to be updating this deck when Cybernetic Horizon comes out and we get the rest of the support. So definitely looking forward to that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.